Well, my clock says 4 o'clock. Let's record button, and we are going.
Hey, I'm so thankful to have you here, Brandon. Thanks so much for your help. Tony Pellegrini here. Let me share my desktop with you. And I don't have it as fancy PowerPoints slide presentations as Brandon and Carol, but hopefully it's all good information and this will help out. So let me just kind of go point by point here. The first thing I want to say is, and I don't know, Brandon and Carol, I'm going to ask you to speak up here in just a moment, but I am loving the work that you're sharing. When Justin up at UEN visited Brandon and I a couple of weeks before the class started, he asked us, well, how many kids usually show up? And we said, 10 to 12, maybe a few more. But the work that you do is evidence of the connection that you're making, not only to the content, but to your peers, to your instructors. I am very, very, very pleased with the work that I'm seeing within my class. And I'm putting you on the spot, Brandon. I'm putting you on the spot, Carol. Are you in the ballpark with that, or do you see things a little bit differently?
No, I see it exactly the same way, Tony. I've just been thrilled with the participants in my class with what they've done. It's been excellent.
Same here. I'm a little behind at being caught up with week 2, but the week 1 stuff's been great with the connecting through social media and through Twitter. They've really done well with that.
So thank you, Brandon, and thank you for being honest with me. I've been a little behind too. I've been answering emails. I'll get to it before I go to bed tonight. But I have been very, very pleased with the work. That being said, and I know Brandon visited with you maybe last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, about consider presenting and sharing some of these skills that you're learning. Today I received the USET newsletter, and I just wanted to put a link here. I did send this link or this agenda to you within the calendar. So I would encourage you to please take a look at the USET newsletter. You can look at I'm not going to go into detail, you can find it right here on October 2018's one. Great tools for you to use, but like Brandon said a week or two ago, registration is open for USET 19. It's going to open soon. So as you click on this link, yes, you can just go, but if you will, let's see, open soon. Shoot, it opened for me. Let's see. Give me just a second here. This is the registration. I want to do presenters here. That's what I'm doing. I would encourage you to, even with some of the things that you're learning in this class, to say, hey, I can present that, I can share that. I'm going to pick on a couple of you. Hopefully, I'm going to share a couple of examples of some cool work that I've seen in my class. Again, a lot of this is last minute, so I haven't asked their permission. So I'm asking your permission now if they're here to give that to me. But and I'll go in a little more detail as we get to the samples later on. But consider presenting. I really like these over-the-shoulder presentations. 20 minutes, show a specific solution, a specific tool, a content that you really liked. Adobe, many of you are connecting with Adobe Spark and sharing tools through Spark. I think that would be a wonderful thing to be able to share with your peers. Again, it is going to be down in Provo at the Conference Center downtown. If you're close to that, or if that's not if you can take a day off to do some presenting or going to the conference, I would sure encourage you to do that. One thought that I had, I'm sticking my neck out here, you do not have to do this, but is if you are a little bit anxious about presenting, that you said, Tony, I'm just too afraid to do that. Well, invite me to present with you via WebEx or Zoom. You would bring your computer, you hook up a WebEx just like we're doing here with Brandon. I could visit with the group that you had. You'd be there face to face. I would be here in a little screen up on the window answering questions just as we're doing here. And so let's use some of these technologies to engage and connect with our learners. Is there a question for Brandon? Go right ahead.
No, I think that's great. I think that's great to include others. It's not an individual thing necessarily to present. We can do a team or a group presentation at any of these conferences.
it would. I think it would be. I think it's wonderful. And yes, we live in a great state, very diverse, very spread out. But with these technologies, we're learning next door we're learning next door one to another here. Like with this agenda that's here in front of you, it's almost as if we're sitting next to each other and going through step by step, and as if you were here in Cedar, but you don't have to drive all the way. So anyway, I just want to say I love your work. Look at the USET newsletter and consider presenting at USET. I think that would be great. Okay, I wanted to take a few minutes here and talk to you about the two content issues that we really wanted to address today. The first one is the TPEC framework. And there's a great explanation of it. At this particular link, I've provided a link here as far as an explanation of that, but I want to, if I can, go back to, give me just a second, to our class and come into, just a second, our modules and take you through our modules. And so in regards to the week 3's readings, what is this technological, pedagogical content knowledge? So one of the things that I wanted to do was to share with you here, give me just a moment, to just take a look. Let me try to go in here through the syllabus and come down to, I think it was the discussions. I have a couple of links here that I wanted to make you aware of. And I'm going to go back, I guess, to the TPAC framework that I shared up here and talk with you a little bit about TPAC and what is associated with that. I know I'm hopping all over the place, but I do want to just share with you here. I'd like to get some of your feedback. I know get some of your participation. And so what I'm going to do is ask you to, if you're on your computer, if you would go to polleverywhere.com, and that would be, let me kind of show you there. This is a great tool to use with kids in classrooms and with teachers and kids at a distance. Okay, so if you'll open up another browser window on your computer and go to polleverywhere.com, and then just a second here. I think we can just go in to this address rather than even going into polleverywhere.com. I've gone ahead and created a tool for you here. So if you will, Command and V, put that pollev.com/TonyPelle and go. It's going to take you to Tony Pellegrini's presentation. Give me just a second to come in here and log in and post a question. What I really like about this is that you can post questions for students to review on their computers at a distance, if you please, or on their cell phones, if you like. So, just a second here. There we go. So if you go into pollev.com to Tony Pellegrini, and the first question that I wanted you to answer here is give me some examples of content knowledge. You're teachers and you teach content. What are some of the content knowledge components that you teach? That's one component of the TPAC that I wanted to make you aware of. It should be pretty straightforward. What's some content that you teach? So go to pollev.com/TonyPelle, and you should be able to type in a response. Right, I'm going to pick on you. Would you be willing to put in your technology teaching? Maybe you could put that in.
So there's no poll yet, it says, Tony.
There's no poll. Thank you so much, Duh. You have to figure it out. Give me just a moment here. And let me go back to my tool. I thought I clicked on it. This is part of the deal that you have to do here. You have to make sure that you share it. Share. Give me just a second. done. And there, these three little icons right
There we go.
Is it showing there now
Yep.
for you? Thank you so
You got it.
much. The only thing about technology is it's constantly changing. And to keep up with it, it's a little bit difficult, but we're going to make it work here. So, as you, just as I'm asking you, talk to me about the content knowledge that you teach and that you share with your learners. This is a way to get some responses from your learners that they don't have to raise their hand, they don't have to speak up. Particularly content knowledge, it shouldn't be anything embarrassing to speak up or share about. And here comes factoring quadratics. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm so grateful that you are teaching the content knowledge subject in curriculum to teach. Wonderful. Thank you so very much. Solving equations is something we teach. That's content, some of the content that you know and that you engage with. Thank you very, very much. Research skills, using databases, citing sources. Excellent, excellent. So you've got your mind wrapped around 1/3 of this TPAC model already. There is content that we teach, okay? Call in user number 2. Speak up and share your question, please. Oh, maybe not, I apologize. So that's one of these 3 circles. It's the yellow circle on the right here, as far as content knowledge. The next knowledge that we have as teachers is pedagogical knowledge. And give me just a second to make sure that is identified here. Give me just a moment. I'm going to open up the question for pedagogical knowledge. And you've shared very clearly what content you teach. Now, pedagogical knowledge is a very fancy term for the methods that we use to teach. Somebody teaches out there quadratic equations. What are some methods that you use to teach? You're all classroom teachers. You used methods today to teach. I know you have some in there. Don't worry about the specific names. I'm not judging or criticizing you. Active participation. Wonderful. Thank you so very much. So you're going to teach your content area within active participation with collaborative teams. Wonderful. Station rotation model to learn about blended learning. Excellent. Fantastic. These are great tools, are great to, with, and by. Wonderful. Pedagogical project-based learning. Absolutely. These are great pedagogies. So the TPAC model asks us to look at these, to look at content knowledge and pedagogical knowledge, which we're all very comfortable with. We do every day when we walk into the classroom. But what they have done is add this 3rd circle down here, the pink circle, of technological knowledge, okay? And so give me just a moment here to just open my next question for you. Give me just a second. I'll go back to my polls and go to technological knowledge. What are some examples of technology, technological knowledge, that you teach quadratics equations in an active or participatory or problem-based approach? What are some technologies that you use to encourage these skills? Desmos. I've got to learn about that. That's a new one to me. Good. I love it when I can learn alongside. I'm going to write it down right now. I'm going to forget it. Spelling City, wonderful. Canvas, Schoology, Agilix, Buzz. Oh my goodness, Padlet, Kahoot, Quizzes, Quizlet Live, Reflex Math. And so you've got these 3 areas. You've got these 3 areas that that you use and that you participate in already with your learners. And then what this TPAC model does is it says that there is an area here on this diagram between pedagogical knowledge and content knowledge, where the line kind of blurs a little bit, or as you can see here, it overlaps. Pedagogical content knowledge, how what it tries to do is say, rather than teaching these separately, the content different than pedagogy, there are certain approaches, certain methods or pedagogies that we can use to impact our particular contents. Give me just a second here. I don't know if I put a question. Now, I think what I'm going to do is rather than putting it here, I'm just going to talk about this for just a moment and talk about there's an area here between pedagogies and content where it really kind of blurs, and we use those together. The same thing between technologies and content. We've used a tool like WebEx to be able to teach content, and this would be an area where technological content and knowledge content, we kind of overlap together by using tools like WebEx to be able to share content and share technologies. It would be in this kind of dark pink area right here. And then between technological knowledge and pedagogical knowledge, are there certain technological pedagogies that we can use? I'm thinking here, an example here might be something like sharing this Google Doc for the agenda that I shared with you. Using a particular tool, saving it to the web, using the technology of a Google document with a pedagogy of I'm going to stick my neck out here, active learning or actively adding or sharing that particularly. If I were to say with this particular document, Brandon, I'm going to pick on you one more time here. I'm going to add you, Brandon, to our presentation here. And I am going to give it just a second, Brandon. I've got to do one more thing that I want you to do. Yes, you can edit it. That's great. Will you look and see? I'm going to pick on Brandon here because he's an easy mark. Will you see if you can open that up? And let's see if you can add something to TPAC Explain. Can you find that document? He's working on it. Good. When it opens up, Brandon, you come into that document and see if you can edit that document. And will you please, under TPAC Framework Explained here, great. Can you put, after explain, would you put the three components of TPAC, the three basic components of TPAC that we've addressed to this particular moment, to this moment? So this is
And the spelling count?
One counts. Spelling does not count. I'm an old English teacher, but spelling is not going to count. You relax, and you can do a spell check on this. That is just fine. Oh yes, pedagogy would be there. Wonderful, beautiful, beautiful. And one more, you can get it, technology and content, wonderful. So this would be an example of an active learning activity with a technology, technological, pedagogical, where TPAC helps us to articulate and frame these. Now, the real sweet spot, and you can see it's the smallest spot here in the middle, is that point where technology, pedagogy, and content overlap each other. And we're not there all the time, but that's what that's our kind of holy grail that we're kind of constantly searching at, where we can have good pedagogy, is supportive of the content, and is supportive of the technologies that we use as well. So that being said, just a second here to come back to our, let's see, just a moment here, back to our week 3. Oh, yay! Even better. Thank you, Brandon. You can always enjoy a smile. Let me talk for a moment then about this week's assignment. Well, let me go into assignments first. Give me just a second. Go to assignments, or to show you here. Let me go into the assignments. Come down to week 3 because this is what's going to be due next Thursday. Okay, so. What I'm asking you to do is a TPAC image redesign. I've shown you, you've seen the TPAC image. The other model that we wanted to talk about today, I'm going to just do it from this particular model here that we have together, is the SAMR model. Okay, and basically stands for we use technology to substitute, to augment, to modify, or to redefine. Okay, let me give you an example here. And I'm going to turn my computer down on my desk. Maybe you can see. Yeah, you can. Well, hopefully you can see this. Okay, if I've got, here's some papers that I've been working on, and if I've got just a little jar of Play-Doh. If I've got a Play-Doh paperweight here, what does that cost? 10 cents, a dollar, whatever it might be. That's great. But if I were to say, I am going to, just a second, and there's no computer in this, don't worry, it's just the empty box. But if I were to buy a $2,000 computer and were to never take it out of its box or not use it at all, basically what I've done is I've substituted technology for Play-Doh. I've substituted and used technology to take the place of something that I can spend a lot less money on than a $2,000 computer. You don't want to just substitute the use of technology. You want to really move in the SAMR model up this chain a little bit. You want to augment to directly substitute or make an improvement on the particular approach that you're using with technology. You don't want to use technology just to be to spend $2,000 on a computer just to be able to write or edit. You want to update that a little bit, just as Brandon did. He was a good example a few moments ago with word processors. We can spell check. That's augmenting or improving upon just the pencil just a little bit. The next level up is modification. You're really redesigning, making a change in how you are doing things with technology. We're making a change, and we shared with you an example of that when Brandon added the smiling face. When Brandon added to my agenda, we are modifying or redesigning our task. If we were all sitting together in a room, we might be able to share that paper around and add to that particular paper. But now, at a distance, because of the technology tools that we're using, we're making some significant task redesigns or modifying the tasks that we're doing. And then the highest level is redefining facts, definitions, details, looking to the future of how we're going to use tools in the future for your countries. So that's why I love teaching. I love continuing to teach. I want to teach another 10, 20, hopefully 30 years to be able to see what great technologies are going to come down the pipe. So that being said, you've got the TPAC model that I've talked about, the SAMR model that I've talked about. This next Wednesday night, I need you to work on a TPAC image redesign to demonstrate your understanding of how technology, pedagogy, content work together. I give you a couple articles, and I'll give you a couple of samples here regarding a redesign between the SAMR model, here she uses Bloom's taxonomy, and the TPAC model. But I want you to use the tools that you've learned about in class, that you have access to. It doesn't have to be, again, this fancy, but I'd like to see what you can do to redesign and put your own bend on these particular models. I've given you a couple of peer samples here. This is one sample from a previous class I had, and this is where I want to go back to just a second to our here we go, our seminar presentation here. Courtney, are you here tonight? I thought you were going to kind of be here tonight. Are you here out there? Can you speak up for just a second? Let's see if she's on our list here.
Let's see.
Oh, I'm not seeing her, so I'm going to pick on her and just say, Courtney, I'm sorry, but I wanted to show. This is what you get, guys. If you turn your assignments in before the presentation of the week, Courtney and I love it, Courtney, and I love Annette's samples as well. They turned them in early. They weren't due till next week. They got them in tonight. And so this is Courtney's sample of what she did associated with the TPAC model and how she sees it and how she perceives it. I think that's wonderful. you do something similar to Courtney's or to the other models that you have through this. Let me go back just a page here and pick on Annette as well. Annette did a wonderful job. I just wanted to share with you what Annette did as well. She has that sweet spot here in the middle, that technological, pedagogical content knowledge, where hopefully all three of those circles can overlap. And very, very pleased with her work. Very pleased with both these young ladies. So I will never. So be prepared. Tony's. When Tony goes again, he may be sharing your stuff if you turn it in before his presentation. But I promise only to share what I really love and not anything to disseminate, to take people in. So please, by next Wednesday night, turn one of those in. Let me pause for a second. I kind of feel like that lady on the commercial, help, I've fallen down. I can't get up, help, I've started talking and I won't stop or can't stop. Let me pause for a second. Questions, concerns? Do you want to open your microphone up or type a comment in? And I'll stop talking for a second.
Tony, can I make a comment about the SAMR? I think sometimes people get the idea that it's a ladder. It's a continual. You go up and up and up, and then once you're at the top, you're at the top. But it's a continuum. You go from one back to the other because there's sometimes the substitution is what you need for what you need to accomplish. And so it's not a okay. You move up from substitution and then you never go back to substitution. It's you need there's places where you will find your place for what you're teaching for that subject or that content.
Thank you so very much, and that's why I really love having you and Carol here to help me, and hopefully I can contribute to yours as well. Don't hesitate to speak up and share, and I'm very, very grateful for those that you've shared. And it's right, substituting may be the best thing to do in that particular moment for you. Brandon, thank you so very much. I want to take a couple minutes here in regards to this week's discussion about TPAC and SAMR. So let me just take you out to the assignment. Reflect on TPAC and SAMR models. How do they relate? Post a video responding to this prompt into the discussion board. You can see Courtney's moving and shaking. She's got hers. Lynn has made a response. She's made a couple of responses here. And Lynn has made a post down here as well. So please, this kind of goes back to just a moment to the next question I had for you. In the discussion, compare and contrast how do TPAC and SAMR relate. But this next question has come up a lot with my learners. I don't know if it has so much with first Carol and Brandon, but some of mine are saying, Tony, how do I earn full credit for posting to the discussion board? And what I want to share with you is you have to post a response. The first thing you need to do is post a response, hopefully by Sunday, to that initial prompt. How do they compare and contrast? Just like you saw Courtney do with this last one just a moment ago, she's posted a response. She's a third of the way there. She does have to respond to 2 peers as well before Wednesday night. I go in on Thursday and I score. If you haven't posted to peers, you're not going to get full credit. So you have to have 3 posts by next Wednesday night to be able to get full credit. I understand things happen, life happens, let me know, but that's how I'm scoring those. Is that kind of Brandon, Carol, kind of in the same ballpark that you're at? Wonderful. I'm seeing some nodding heads, and so I'm going to assume that that's okay. But please make those posts and participate. Now, the questions come up, and I think it came up a week or 2 ago. Keston came to me as well. Tony, there are 50 kids in your class. Do I have to read all 50 responses? And again, I'm talking only about my class. I don't want to direct what Brandon and Carol do in theirs. You only have to read 2 others to respond to those 2 others. You want to read more? Read more. Look at others. You're welcome to look at as much as you like. You can look and investigate and review whatever you like, but you're not being graded on how many you review. You're being reviewed on, do I respond to the post? Do I respond to 2 others? Okay? So please don't spend hours and hours and hours, unless you want to, reviewing others. You're welcome to provide feedback to anyone. It's all open, but you're not required to read it. Again, I like it that way because I think that mirrors as closely as possible a face-to-face class in which if we had 50 kids here today in our class, you wouldn't be hearing all the conversations that are going on. You would in an online format. I think it's even better because you have access to all those 50 comments if you want them. If you want them, you don't have to otherwise. So I hope that answers the question about how do I earn full credit on posting the discussion board. Shown you poll everywhere. I've used that to help you address some of our questions today. Hopefully you can use that. It is free. There's a paid version, but free is it's all I can afford, so I'll use the free version. But take a look at poll everywhere for your own activities. A couple of final things here, and these are not necessarily essential to this class, but I wanted, at least the first one, I wanted to make sure that you had a good understanding. Yes, this is a wonderful class. It's going to help you get your EdTech endorsement. Absolutely, it's going to lead to that. But if you do not have your master's degree, I want to have you consider looking at UEN's ETEP and master's opportunity. So if you have your master's degree and you need to get home and get fed, that's all. I don't have any more content for this week, but I did want to just share with you this link to this opportunity. If you go out to the UEN page, this link, you're going to learn about the EdTech endorsement, the ETEP. You do have to have 9 credits from the Utah Educational Network courses, and then you do have to have at least 9 credits from either the FUU or University of Utah credits. These classes, you're in this class tonight, the IELE 5000, and these 5010 and 5020 will be taught in the future, and you can take those classes. These classes in total, then, these 18 hours will get you, when you get those on your transcripts, they will get you your EdTech endorsement. You don't have to use SUU's classes. You can use the in-person University of Utah classes, and that is great as well. But what I wanted to share with you tonight, this is kind of really exciting to me because I'm down here at SUU and part of the Masters of Education program down here. You can use 12 of your elective courses from ETEP as 12 courses in the SUU Masters. So at $23 a credit hour, it really saves you about a third of the cost of your master's program by getting your EdTech endorsement, then using that as a part of your master's down here at SUU. And so I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that you could use this not only for your EdTech endorsement, but if you don't have your master's degree, reach out to me or to Tammy Lovell down here, and we'd love to talk to you about how you can do that as well. And then the last little thing is more fun than anything else, at least for me. For those of you that have a little bit more latitude in your schedule, where you could get away from a week for school for a class, I'm going to be taking a couple of classes, a couple of groups of students to Italy for study abroad experiences in the first part of April and the last part of 2019, the last part of October. We're going to Florence, we're going to study or look at elementary, secondary, ESL school, an international school, and the University of Studi in Florence as well. So it should be a fun experience. I just wanted to make you aware of that. If that interests you at all, you reach out to me and give me a chat. Okay, let me stop. I have been sharing, I've just been talking. Please forgive me. Anyway, it's all in the agenda. You can look at the agenda. I'm sorry. Anyway, questions, concerns, anything else? First from students, any other questions or concerns that I can address and help you answer? Thanks for texting. The next time, Brandon, don't just text me and say, stop me talking. Tony, show your screen, show your screen. Please forgive me. I'm not hearing any questions. Carol, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Will you tell us again where you shared the agenda?
Absolutely. Let me share my screen with you this time. Thank you so very much. One moment here let's see. There we go. There's the right button. All right. If you use Google Calendar, I hope you do, or use something like it. Give me just a second. If you'll go into your calendar, hopefully you'll see a little icon at 4 o'clock today. If you click on that icon and open it up, you will see a little link to an agenda. If you click on that agenda, you will see the agenda that we've been working on. Does that kind of make sense, Carol? You comfortable with that?
Yes, thank you, Tony. Appreciate it.
You are very welcome, and thank you for that wonderful question. Anything else, Carol, that I can help you with, or you think I need to cover better?
Nope, I think we're good.
Hey, that's wonderful. Brandon, any last minute words or questions or concerns?
No, did great. Thank you. Thanks everybody for being here.
Thank you, everyone. And Carol, we've got you next week, right?
Yep, I know.
Hey, I appreciate you. Thanks, one and all. And Brandon, just a gentle reminder, do it out loud now, too. You're going to send me a copy of the recording, right?
As soon as I get it, yes.
I appreciate you, sir. Have a good evening, one and all. Thanks.
Thanks everybody.
Bye.